it and almost had the screwed up microphone. But anyway, we're here. Microphone's working. So it's all good. Anyway, welcome to today. Today is what? November 21st, 1:22 p.m. It's Thanksgiving week. This week's week is going to be a little finicky in terms of scheduling because we've got Thanksgiving and family time and stuff like that. So I'll probably be live every day excluding Thanksgiving, most likely. But whatever. Damn, dude, that picture. I don't know. It's like, see how it's dimming and stuff. I wonder if it's doing that on the live stream. But yeah, how you guys doing? You doing well? I forgot to update the beginning music, but it is what it is. Today, this is like a midday news update. So we're going to talk about some of the news from the weekend. We're going to talk about mass shootings, not just the one that everyone's talking about now. We'll talk about the other 8 mass shootings that occurred over the past 7 days that nobody wants to talk about. Because it's seemingly, if the victims aren't white, if they aren't gay, then nobody cares about them. And I'm not trying to minimize what happened in Colorado because that's insane. But what about all the other mass shootings? What about all the other mass shootings that claim more lives, collectively claim more lives, left more people injured? They're not going to talk about those because they don't fit a particular narrative. Now, the mainstream media can focus really hard on this. You can't focus so far on the gun aspect of it because it appears that the killer in Colorado was not able to legally possess a gun because he was previously charged with threatening to kill his mom with bombs and a police standoff and all sorts of weird stuff. But they're going after that. That it's weird, right? Because a couple of days ago, I think I commented on it. They said 39 trans people were killed in 2021. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. How many black people were killed, in 2021? How many white people were killed? How many Asian people were killed? How many Latinos or Latinx or whatever I'm supposed to call them now were killed? Because you would think that they would, like it's a big thing. But anyway, unfortunately, that number has now gotten tragically higher. And I guess I'll start off with that one first. I believe it was Saturday morning, Saturday night. I don't remember when it was. So let me just go find it. A bartender was one of the victims killed in the mass shooting at an LGBTQ plus. See, and ABC News is being super wrong because it's supposed to be LBGTQ plus I, isn't it? I believe I is now one of them. I think I heard that on the media, and I'm like, what the hell is I? It doesn't stand for intellectual. Anyway, but a bartender was one of the victims killed in that mass shooting in Colorado late Saturday night. 5 people were killed and 25 others were injured. Now, I know initially they said it was 18 injured. Then it went to 19 injured. Now the total number is 25 after a gunman began shooting inside this place called Club Q in Colorado Springs as soon as he walked in. According to Colorado Springs Chief Adrian Vasquez, he told reporters during a news conference yesterday morning, police identified the suspect as Anderson Lee Aldridge, and it's never good if you have 2 first names, Anderson and Lee. Never good, they're always killers. And they're always this one checks the box, right? He used a long gun. He was a white dude. It checks the box in terms of, and we've talked about this a lot because we talk about these mass shootings every week, every Monday. We talk about them. And this one does check all those boxes. This one checks the box. The victims check that box. The shooter checks that box. And the gun that the shooter used checked that box, except he didn't legally acquire the gun. Or maybe he did, but he wasn't supposed to possess it. That's still up in the air. But from what I understand is with his prior convictions, he probably was not able to own a firearm or prior charges. He probably wasn't able to own a firearm, especially because those charges included guns. So that box wasn't checked, but all the other boxes are checked. Police identified him. Yep. And he described, or whom authorities? Police identified the suspect, which I already said, at least 2 people whom authorities believe are or describe as heroes, then confronted Aldrich and fought him, which saved more lives. At least 2 guns, including a long one, were recovered from the scene. The shooting is now being investigated as a hate crime. And then this article goes into descriptors about the victims. which, and again, it's tragic. And I'm not trying to minimize this at all. We could argue all the same talking points, mental health. We could argue, gun restrictions, blah, blah, blah. They obviously, the mental health thing, this kid already had issues. This shooter already had issues. He was arrested last year, and he had a huge standoff with police for several hours because he phoned his mom and he's like, hey, I'm going to blow you up or blow up your house or some crap like that. His mom called authorities. Police went there. He had a whole pile of guns. He had all sorts of homemade bombs. The kid should have never been out of jail. He should have never been out of jail. And you can't make the argument that this was some, liberal DA that released him from jail because, that argument just doesn't stack up with the facts. The DA is a Republican. So the only thing you can go to if you're looking for some sort of reasoning on why this kid did it is that he was mentally challenged. I know a lot of other people will say, well, it's the vitriol from Trump and it's this anti, LGBTQ plus stuff, that people spout, and that, everyone will blame whatever they can for this because that's just what people do now. But they won't actually look for what the actual issues were or how this actually happened. And it's tragic. And I'll say it again. I don't want to minimize how bad this mass shooting was, but what about all of the others? What about all of the other mass shootings that happened in the past 7 days? What is the distinguishing factor? You could argue that the numbers of this mass shooting are greater, but then again, wasn't there a mass shooting that took place outside of a nightclub a couple of weeks ago that 18 people were injured, and I think 2 or 3 were killed and 18 other people injured? And that mass shooting faded away really quick when the majority of the victims were figured out to be black. And so they stopped talking about it. And that's a common theme. And people have to realize that. Like, I don't care if you want to, people want to call me a bigot or call me homophobic or whatever, because I'm drawing light to the other attacks that happen. You know what I mean? That you can't put one group of people before the other people. You have to, give a universal condemnation on everything. And that's what I do. And because we're doing that, we're going to talk about all the other mass shootings as well. We're not just going to be hyper-focused. President Biden didn't do this. He didn't, put out a special press release for the 4 people that were shot in Dallas. He didn't put out a press release for the 1 person killed and 6 others that were shot in Mississippi this weekend, or the other people that were shot wherever this was. I have an ad blocker on. But he did, however, put out a press release for the mass shooting that took place in Colorado Springs. He didn't put one out for the people that were killed in Washington Park, Illinois, or Richmond, Virginia. 4 people were killed. No press release. Chesapeake, Virginia, no press release. Omaha, Nebraska, no press release. 1 person was killed in that incident. 7 others injured. You're not getting press releases for a lot of these. You're not, but let's talk about some of these mass shootings. And we'll start from November 13th on, because we only cover the past 7 days of mass shootings. On November 13th in North Carolina, a woman was killed in a shooting at a large bonfire party. At least 6 other people were injured as a result of that. Around 1:30 a.m., deputies with the Halifax County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of a shooting at a party at the Double D Ranch, which is a horse farm located at 1662 Green Acres Road in rural Halifax County. A 25-year-old woman named Sierra Webb from Roanoke Rapids was killed. Her father posted a tribute to her on Facebook that said, never did I imagine that I would be typing this message for you. We are heartbroken. Now, family members told local news affiliate WRAL that she leaves behind a young daughter. Deputies said more than 6 people may have been injured at the party, which had hundreds in attendance. According to witnesses, an argument between a group of women took place before the shooting and multiple shots were fired. The sheriff's office said people ran to their cars and others began firing. Video from Facebook shows people running across the street and hiding behind cars as multiple gunshots were heard. 4 people who were shot were in stable condition on Sunday, and 1 person was airlifted to a local hospital. Those shot were identified, and this is something mainstream media doesn't do unless the victims are white or unless the victims are, in the case of the Colorado LGBTQ+. You're never going to hear this about other mass shootings. These are the victims' names. Sierra Webb, 25. She was the one who was fatally killed or fatally shot. A 16-year-old whose name was not released. Someone from Washington, North Carolina named Zachary Bagley. Eddie Jeffries, also from Roanoke Rapids, was shot. Ralph Mayo Jr. from Roanoke Rapids was shot. And Anthony Chavez Jr. from Rocky Mount was shot. Another person, Kiona Pulley from Rocky Mount, injured her shoulder while trying to escape the shooting. Now, this guy named Dennis Harvey runs the Double D Ranch. He claimed the shots were fired outside of the event. The party had multiple security checkpoints set up to stop weapons from getting inside. Harvey said he did hire security for the event, and they found 27 guns that people were trying to smuggle into this party. These weapons were found in the bottom of coolers. They were found in boots. These weapons were even found in hats. So we stopped taking these things from getting through our gate. So we stopped these things from getting through our gate and putting our supporters at risk, but it didn't stop the people that did get the guns through. And unfortunately, that young woman, Sierra Webb, was killed. You won't see her face on mainstream media. It's sad. It's sad. Omaha, Nebraska, there was a mass shooting as well, but there's no news article. One person was killed. 7 people were injured. Again, they don't really talk about all these mass shootings. I guess I could scroll all the way down if I really wanted to. And why not? Let me see. Bum, bum, bum. Nope. No, see, they don't even have it. It doesn't even say what it was. But yeah, so one person was killed, 7 people injured in that mass shooting. Now, where's the next one? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Philly. 4 people were shot in Philly's Feltonwood section on Sunday morning. This is last Sunday. The shooting happened on the 400 block of East Wyoming Avenue around 4:30 a.m. Authorities say a 37-year-old man was shot once, a 27-year-old man was shot twice, a 45-year-old man was shot once, and a 34-year-old man suffered a graze wound. Police say the group was shot while they were leaving a club. 3 men were transported to Temple University Hospital, and 1 person drove himself to the hospital. All 4 are in stable condition. Police say they are also investigating whether or not a robbery near the club earlier in the morning is connected to the incident. No arrests have been made. No motive is known for the shooting. No, suspect information is available. They haven't released anything. Obviously, there was a mass shooting that happened at the University of Virginia. And we've talked about this before. This kid was on the radar, but one thing that's not being portrayed a lot with this shooting. So, and I guess I'm local to this area, so we get all the local news. On the national side, Fox News covered this. I mean, 5 college students shot in a bus. They were all about it, but posterizing the picture of this shooter all over their page because it's a black shooter, a black mass shooter. I mean, this is a huge deal for Fox News, even though the majority of mass shootings that happen in the United States are black shooters. Those are facts. You can't dispute it. Now, the majority of school shootings, well, also not white people, but again, people don't care about it because the majority of the victims in these shootings are black people. So mainstream media doesn't cover it because they call it inner city violence or drug violence or gang violence or whatever else they can label it as, other than, people are shooting each other with illegal firearms over bullshit because they don't fight. Their parents, and I've talked about it before. If you want to solve mass shootings, incentivize parents to stay with their kids, incentivize the dads not to flee. Incentivize people to actually parent their children instead of just giving them handouts all the time. And that's how you stop mass shootings. Anyway, a couple of new key details from the ongoing investigation into Sunday's triple murder at the University of Virginia. This is last Sunday as well. According to the Virginia State Police, which is now in charge of the investigation at the request of the university and its police department, a handgun was recovered in relative proximity to the shooting scene, which occurred on a charter bus in the parking lot of the Colbreth Theater on the campus grounds. Another new detail, a search warrant executed by investigators on the Charlotte's residence of Christopher Jones, who faces 3 second-degree murder charges in the shooting, resulted in the recovery of a rifle and another handgun. All firearms have been turned over as evidence for the ATF to process. They learned Wednesday that Jones had legally purchased 2 guns, a Ruger AR-556 rifle and a Glock 9mm pistol from a Colonial Heights gun dealer earlier this year. On top of, which is weird. How do you do that? Well, it doesn't say whether it was, how the fuck did he get how was he able to purchase guns? Because he had a 2021 conviction for a concealed weapons charge. It was discovered in the course of the investigation by UVA officials that Jones had been convicted in 2021 on concealed weapons charges and had not reported the conviction to the university as required. But that doesn't, it should show up on FBI background checks. So this mass shooting seems to be quite the failure. We learned Wednesday that Jones had the guns. I already said that. The school prepared to refer the failure of Jones to report the conviction to a student-led judiciary committee for potential discipline. And after originally saying that it had been done, a school spokesperson clarified on Wednesday that the matter, in fact, had not been referred to a committee. So everyone's looking for people to blame. Here's a question that I want to know. If he did have or I'm assuming it was a misdemeanor conviction for a concealed firearm charge, wouldn't that have been flagged? Wouldn't that have been flagged when you're making a gun purchase? I don't know. You would think it would be. But a lot of people are talking about this, mainstream media. How many of you guys know? How many of you guys in the chat right now? Let's do a shows of ones and twos. How many of you knew that this person, Christopher Darnell Jones, had reported to both family, friends, and the school that he was being bullied by his victims? How many people knew that for months leading up to this? It's all over our local news. However, the national news is not covering it. Not to say that gives him reasons for shooting all these people, but our local news are saying that, well, this kid has been, or this guy, this grown man, anyone younger than me is a kid. That's how I do it. But that this young man was being bullied. He talked to his parents about it. He talked to his school about it. He talked to his friends about it, that he had ongoing conflicts with these kids because they were making fun of him or whatever, the expression is. But for some reason, that didn't make national news. You would think that it would, because maybe that provides some sort of motive for this shooting because he was being bullied or however you say it. But those are just facts. Again, mainstream media lacks, because when you say he's bullied, then people are going to be like looking at it saying, oh, you're going to see people working in the back. Nice. Awesome. Yeah. Leaf blowers. See, I opened it because it's fucking cold as shit in my office. So I figured I'd get some sun, but they're doing leaf blowing in the parking lot outside. So yeah, you're going to see him walk right up. Yeah. And then you could all wave. Like, see, if I had cameras up, you could all wave, but it's annoying. Anyway. And I'm not closing the curtains now, but whatever. It's going to annoy the fuck out of me. Let me tell you what. Anyway, and we talked about those 3 mass shootings, and you were probably like, well, Steve, that's all the mass shootings of this week, right? Nope. In Maryland, a Maryland man is accused of killing 3 children and former girlfriend in Chester. Now, again, most mainstream media will not consider this a mass shooting because they consider it a domestic disturbance or domestic assault or domestic situation. It's still a mass shooting by definition. This man used a gun to go out and kill 4 people, including himself. No. A Maryland man was arrested Friday afternoon and charged with a quadruple fatal shooting at Chester that left his former girlfriend and her 3 children dead. He's the father of 2 of the youngest victims, both 4 years old. Chesterfield police said Jonah L. Adams, a black dude, was apprehended by agents with the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives near his residence in Waldorf, Maryland, around 2 p.m., just 9 hours after the killings. They were able to set up surveillance on him to catch him coming back. He remains in custody in Maryland. Waldorf is in Charles County, southeast of Washington, D.C. Around the time of his capture, Chesterfield detectives obtained warrants charging Adams with 4 counts of first-degree murder in the slayings of Joanna M. Caudill, 39 years old, Jalen Parson, 13 years old, Kinsey Caudill, 4, and Jason Caudill, 4 years old. Little fucking kids. Police say Adams was previously in a relationship with Caudill and is the father of the twins Kinsey and Jason. No direct motive was provided for the killings, but Hensley said there was hints of a turbulent relationship between Adams and Caudill that friends and family members described in interviews with detectives. There was a previous protective order involving the former couple that was not in effect now that they identified, according to the police. They said there appeared to be a conflict over the 4-year-old twins that Adams' father was Caudill, saying, and that I don't want to read any more of this because it's just back and forth. But that was one of the other mass shootings that had happened. It's rough when you read about kids. Anyway, 13-year-old killed, 3 others were injured in St. Clair County drive-by shooting. This is, where was this? St. Clair County. I don't even know where this one was. Washington Park. So this is in Illinois. Washington Park, Illinois. A 13-year-old boy was killed and 3 of his friends were wounded in a drive-by shooting in Washington Park Saturday afternoon. Johnny R. McCline was pronounced dead at the scene at 4:35 p.m., according to the coroner, Calvin Dye Sr. Illinois State Police and major crimes agents from District 11 Zone 6 were dispatched to 45th Street and Buncombe Road, where groups of juveniles were walking at approximately 5:21 p.m. It's not clear if the 4 victims are residents of Washington Park. The 3 wounded teens were transported to area hospitals. Their conditions are not known. A motive has not been established. They have no suspects in custody. And and they didn't, obviously they're juveniles, so they only released the fatality, not the other victims. That wasn't it. In Mississippi, 1 man is dead. 6 others were shot in a game of dice on Saturday. This is 2 days ago. Law enforcement say the violence broke out at the dice game. The Yazoo County Sheriff, whose name is Jake Sheriff. That's weird, right? His name is Jake Sheriff, and he is the sheriff of Yazoo County. That's kind of rad. He said calls about the shooting came in from around 12:41 a.m. Think about the campaigning. It would just say Jake for sheriff. Jake Sheriff for sheriff. That's pretty neat. Anyway, the sheriff said the shooting happened over a dice game. 27-year-old named Christopher Turnage was one of those shot Saturday. He was flown to the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, but he later died. A 41-year-old named Amanda Gatlin of Hinds County was shot in the head. She's in critical condition. Another victim, Latasha Washington, 44, was shot in the left hip. 23-year-old Jabarius Smith was shot in the left arm. And 38-year-old Latasha Gordon was shot in the left hand. Billy Barton was shot in the left shoulder, and Cornelius Scott were also shot. He was shot in the left side. All 5 were in stable condition, according to the last check. Sheriff, what would his shirt say? You're right, Mike. Would it say Sheriff? Because normally it's like Sheriff John or Sheriff, Jones, or Sheriff. Would his be Sheriff? Like when you address him in the media, do you address him like Sheriff? Sheriff with the Yazoo County Sheriff's Department. You would say Sheriff Jake Sheriff. Man, they must have to explain that every time. That's why they say Yazoo County Sheriff, whose name is Jake Sheriff. That's so weird. Anyway, sheriff said no arrests have been made as of Sunday, and there were no suspects due to the chaos at the scene. Investigators hadn't been able to talk to the victims yet. He suspected there may have been multiple shooters at that one. So that's just a lot. And then last night, there was another one. You're not going to hear about this. Actually, yesterday morning, you're not going to hear about this on the news. 4 men were hospitalized after a shooting in East Oak Cliff early Sunday morning. Dallas police say the shooting happened just before 2 a.m. in a parking lot behind a billiards hall in the 2000 block of South Beckley Ave. Responding officers found 4 men who had been shot. All 4 were taken to local hospitals where police say 2 remain in critical condition. Police do not or have not provided any circumstances regarding the shooting, any motive known for the shooting, any suspect information. They're just not providing it. But in total, there were 9 total mass shootings, 16 people killed, and 50. Now that number of 50 is actually higher because they had 18 before. So you're talking what? Now they're saying 25. So it's 55 others injured. We only talk about the mass. For some reason, mainstream media only focuses on a certain amount of mass shootings or a certain, what they think is going to be clickbaity, and it offends me. It offends me so much. Because when you look at the actual mass shootings that we have every single week, it's just insane. Like let's look at the total mass shootings. And I used to compare it and contrast it to like Donald Trump's, term and all that stuff. That doesn't even matter because that puts partisan politics into this. What people have to realize is that we have a tragic scenario going on with mass shootings across the United States. So far this year, there's been 604 mass shootings claiming the lives of... Oh, shit. I fucked it up. Oh, shit. I just fucked up my formula. Hold on. Claiming the lives of 623 people and leaving another 2,538 people injured. We hear about a small number of those mass shootings. So let me say it again. 604 mass shootings claiming the lives of 623 people, leaving another 2,538 people injured. Collectively, this is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that have been killed by this sense. And this is only mass shootings. These are only mass shootings. We're not even talking about, like, look at, everyone can do this. Go to the gunviolencearchive.org and look up the last 72 hours of mass shootings. Last 72 hours of mass shootings, there are 9 pages, 25 to a page of shootings that occurred with injuries across the United States in the past 72 hours. The majority of these shootings are not by legal guns. The majority of these shootings aren't even, by long guns. The majority of these shootings aren't taking place in rural neighborhoods. The majority of these shootings aren't taking place in hospitals or gay bars or shopping centers. The majority of these shootings are outside nightclubs. They're in your neighborhoods. They're in city parks. They're at grocery stores. They're in subways. That's where it is, where the public is. It's insane. It's insane. In mainstream media, they only want to talk about going after guns or going after this or going after that, or the shooter's white, or it's Donald Trump's fault. That's all the media ever portrays. And so you're never actually going to hear about any of these mass shootings. But that's why we do the mass shooting report every Monday. And we'll keep doing it because nobody else does. And it's something that we have to do. As a reminder, well, actually, I didn't even tell you guys about this. We have something that we haven't done before. Well, we have back in the day. You'll see this now on theangryturnup.com. I'm going to put the link up here inside the chat for all of you guys. This is our t-shirt bags. So the reason why I'm putting these in here right now is because these are all of our old designs. You can see as I zoom in, some of the anti-socialism ones, some of the Born Free t-shirts, but yeah, we have all of these. We only have limited quantities of these. And I'll be honest, I souped up the deal a little bit because remember how I was going to do a $50 gift card for a coffee order, $75 gift card for a mystery box order? Well, I decided to throw the $75 gift card in one of these bags. And I'll tell you, I don't remember what size I put it in, but I remember it was like a large, extra large, or double XL. But I'll tell you the quantities of these bags. They're $30, okay? And you get 2, or you get 3, 4, or if you order a small, you're going to get like 10 t-shirts in the bag. And I think one of the mediums has a hat in it too. But we have 3 smalls, 4 mediums, 4 larges, 3 extra larges, 2 XLs, and 4 3XLs available. They're all packaged, ready to go. That was me putting them. That picture that I just showed there was the picture of them all laid out on the desk this morning before I packaged them all. And so they are ready to go. So if you order those now, you're going to get them by, well, you'll ship priority mail. You'll get it probably by Wednesday, depending on where you live, or Thursday. So please order them. And I already put the gift card in it. And like I said, I don't remember. I believe it was either in a large, extra large, 2X or 3X. I don't remember which thing I put it in. And I can't tell. It's not like I marked the bag. But yeah, if you order that, it really helps. And we got more. So you guys were asking me to do giveaways that are different. So tonight I'm doing a different giveaway. I'm giving away another laptop, brand new. This one's not even open. This one's brand new. I just bought it this morning. This is, what was it? This one is HP 15.6 Intel Core i3, 8 gigabyte memory, Windows 11 Home. People wanted laptops. Here's a brand new laptop. It'll ship out to you tomorrow. All you have to do to enter in that, listen very carefully, is do the Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, or Cash App or Venmo, links in the description of the video, and do $10 or more, because this was more expensive than a TV. $10 or more, you can enter as many times as you want, $10 or more. And we will be doing that giveaway tonight. And we'll talk about it because right now I don't even have those links up on the screen because I'm not prepared. I could put them up and just do this and then it's gone. And then I could put, or I could put this back up and then I could just make this smaller. Like, no, see, can't do it. Can't do it. Oh yeah, I could just do that. Oh, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Right there. Bam. I could just do that. And then you see the Cash App, Venmo right there. But we'll do that. And then I've got a super special one that we'll do tomorrow as well. And tomorrow, you guys, you want to know? No, I'm not telling you what tomorrow is going to be because I want you to do today's too. So hopefully you guys are going in, buying one of those bags, the t-shirt bags. Again, the link is in your chat. Also, if you want a chance at winning this laptop tonight, this laptop right here, the only thing you have to do is send a Cash App or a Venmo, $10 or more, write the platform which you watch. There's a guy right there in the back window doing his thing, pushing the leaves around, which is what I should be doing at my house right now. But nope, I didn't. But yeah. What else? Someone said, do I think there's going to be a rail strike? No, I don't necessarily think there will be a rail strike. I know 2 of the 4 major ones well, one voted yes, one voted no. The one that voted no were the rail engineers. So I don't know. I think that they're going to talk it up, and then Biden will sit down and try to negotiate with them, and he won't do shit, and they'll come to some sort of solution. And then Biden's going to be like, hey, look what I did. Because that's what he did last time. Remember? With the rail strike last time, he said, oh, look, it's a huge accomplishment. We stopped this rail strike, blah, blah, blah. This is great. Except he didn't actually stop shit. He didn't stop shit. It's really annoying. Like, get the fuck away from my store. Can't you see I'm live? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's the deal. That's what we're doing. There were a couple other news stories. It's actually fucking loud because they're blowing all the leaves right outside. Like, you would think they would do that shit at night or something when offices weren't occupied, even though I do a show at night. What else was I going to say? There's a homeless woman in Redding, California that was run over by a semi-truck driver on Saturday night when he was trying to flip a U-turn. He ended up trying to get a U-turn, ran her over. She was sleeping in a tent. She died. Also, remember that trucking, the semi that was carjacked out in Washington State? Well, apparently there's some new details that have, come out about that. Apparently the man who carjacked the semi, he did it with a hammer, assaulting the truck driver with a hammer before stealing his truck. He got out on the Interstate 5 where he rolled over the tractor trailer. It was about a 4-hour standoff with police until he finally exited the tractor trailer and ran at the officers with a hammer. They shot and killed him. He died. The interstate was closed for a total of like 16 hours in both directions, and it opened finally around 9 a.m. on Saturday. Yeah, it's very distracting because I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's fucking loud. It's very loud in here. So, but yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. Crazy stuff. Wasn't there, I think, breaking news this morning? I don't even know where it was. An Apple store. A car drove into an Apple store and fatalities have been reported. That was initially what I saw. But what I've been doing, the reason why I have a couple of trucking stories this morning is because I'm slowly building up the content for Capacity Today on the back end. So I'm writing very brief news stories relating to the trucking industry. We'll probably launch that sometime mid-December. But it'll just be trucking related news, completely separate from everything else. You guys can't hear that. Oh, so it's just me complaining because you guys can't hear it. It's loud though. It's very loud. Here, maybe you could hear it if I do this because now I just want to fuck around. Can you hear it now? Yeah, you can. That's the background. The background, super annoying. But I was looking on the sound meters. But yeah, again, just like Mike said, or the Virginia Realtor, I almost dropped it. If you want to win yourself a chance at an HP laptop, send a Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, or not PayPal. Well, fuck it. You could do PayPal as well. Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Write what platform you watch, $10 or more. And we'll be doing that drawing live after tonight's show. I just dropped a box of Cheez-Its. So I'm going to end this so I can do that. I'll be live tonight. Not quite sure what I'm going to talk about, but it should be fun. And yeah, so check it out. And yeah. Oh, by the way, let me post this again in the chat. If you guys want to get the t-shirt bags, one of these t-shirt bags has a $75 gift card in it. One of these t-shirt bags has a $75 gift card in it. Where the fuck is this? Order. It's only $30, and each one comes with at least 3 t-shirts. The majority of them come with 4, and the smalls come with like 10. The smalls come with a crap ton of t-shirts, literally a t-shirt for every day of the week in the 2 smalls or 3 smalls that we have. But if you order those now, you will get those shipped out tomorrow. And that's a promise, because they're already packaged, ready to go. I just got to put a label. Matter of fact, if you order it right now, you're going to get a shipping notice now, because I'll bring it to the post office on my way out of here when I leave in an hour and a half. And then I will be back tonight at 8 o'clock. That's where we'll do another show. We'll talk about whatever. We'll also do this computer giveaway. Tomorrow I got another giveaway, which will probably be better than the computer giveaway. But they asked me today, because they're like, you keep buying all this shit. What are you buying it for? And so I told them, and they're like, oh, what's the channel? How can I enter to win? I'm like, you can't. You can't. Because every day I go in and I buy laptops, or I buy TVs, or I buy this or that every day. You just drove through all their leaves. How rude. But yeah, we'll see you guys all tonight, probably around 8 o'clock Eastern. All right. We'll see you. Bye.